Hey everyone, Mr. W back, and now today I'm going to talk about customary units of capacity. We're still doing more conversions now. This one is kind of my favorite one to talk about because this is one that I use the most often, and I think a lot of students, if you cook or if you do anything with food or baking, this is one you're going to use a lot. So basically it's just talking about all different measurements like pint, gallons, quarts, and for example, if you notice 1 quart, 32 fluid ounces, pint, 8 ounces, which is actually a cup, and we'll all talk about that. But again, this is what I enjoy seeing because this is what you see when you go grocery shopping or in your refrigerator or down in the cafeteria. But it's basically working with like your measurements of quarts, pints, gallons, especially if you like getting chocolate milk. Who doesn't love chocolate milk? You'll see it, these types of measurements on there, okay? So basically, you have 8 fluid ounces is actually 1 cup. So I tell students all the time that maybe you drink I drink like 24 ounces of coffee a day sometimes. And that's actually not a cup, that's more than 1 cup. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. 2 cups is 1 pint, 2 pints is 1 quart, 4 cups is 1 quart, and 4 quarts is 1 gallon. And again, it's also on that PSSA paper that is uploaded on Google Classroom. You notice it is there for standard conversions. And that one only has 4, okay? Now, this is what I tell students to draw all the time, and it's great to see this in their notebooks. They draw, just call it the super G. So that big G means gallon. So that shows you that there's 4 quarts in a gallon, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 pints in a whole gallon. Now, obviously, Q means quarts, P means pint, and the little C's are cups. So in 1 gallon, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 cups in a gallon. So in 1 pint, if you notice, in one of those P's, there's 2 C's. So I mean there's 2 cups in a pint, and then altogether there's 1, 2, 3, 4 cups in a quart. And then there's 2 pints in a quart. So this really helps with measurement, drawing the super G, and then putting all this in, because it kind of helps you. It's like a little cheat sheet that you have that you can look at. Also, here's my little rendition when I tell students to draw it. And again, I always do that so it helps students draw it and make sure when you draw the P's, you make it kind of wide so you can put the 2 cups in there. And then obviously there's the gallon man, but I feel like the super G, the super gallon's easier to remember and to use than Mr. Gallon or the gallon man. So for this situation, we have 8 quarts equals something pints, okay? So I want to convert quarts into pints. So the same thing. I set up my ratio, and I want to do quarts to pints, okay? So I know that the relationship is there's 2 pints in every quart. So in 1 quart, there's 2 pints. So in 1 quart, there's 2 pints. So quarts with quarts, pints with pints. So since this is low to high, you multiply. So I do 1 times 2, and I get 2. What you do for the bottom, you do for the top. So 8 times 2 would be 16. So that means that there's 8 and 8 quarts. It can be converted to 16 pints, okay? Now, same thing with gallons and quarts, okay? I can even use the super G. I know in 1 gallon, there's 4 quarts, okay? So I would do gallons with gallons, quarts with quarts. In 1 gallon, there's 4 quarts. Again, low to high, you multiply. So I do 1 times 4, gives you 4. What you do for the bottom, you do for the top. So with 2 gallons, there would be 8 quarts, okay? Now, here's a good one. This one's really, really challenging, and I'm going to show you. So this one, we have 5 pints, okay? Now, I have 5 pints, and I want to change it to quarts, but I'm also going to have some pints left over. So sometimes like this might be a little confusing because you don't want a decimal. So I'm going to change pint into quart, but basically you want to think of it as having a remainder. Whatever your remainder is, it's going to be your pint. Okay? So I know that there are 2 pints and 1 quart. Okay? 2 pints and 1 quart. So since it's high to low, I'm going to divide. So I'm going to divide by 2. And when I do 5 divided by 2, you're going to get 2.5. Okay, you're going to get 2.5. But that's 2.5 quarts because you want a pint. So I know that I can get at least 2 full quarts out of that. But 2 times 2 is 4. So I'm going to have a pint left over, so it'll be 2 quarts, 1 pint. Okay? So here's another situation. These are like PSSA type questions that you're going to see. And the cool thing is they will sometimes give you the measurement. So this one says Marion fills a bucket with water. The capacity of the bucket is 2 quarts. What is it in gallons? Okay, so right here it's asking you what is the capacity in gallons. So I know I have 2 quarts and I want to transfer it into gallon. I want to change it to gallon. Okay, so I know the relationship of quarts with quarts, you keep it with quarts, and gallons stay with gallon. So again, you set up your relationship like this, your ratio. Then I know that 1 gallon is 4 quarts. So with quarts, I'm going to put the 4 quarts here, because quarts. And with gallon, I'm going to put 1 gallon. So since this is high to low, you divide, oh no. So this one you would have to do 4 divided by 4 gives you 1. What you do for the bottom, you do for the top. So I need to do 2 divided by 4. 2 divided by 4. And when you punch it in your calculator, you will get something like this, which is 1/2. So if 4 quarts is 1 gallon, 2 quarts would actually be half of a gallon. Okay? 1 more. Okay, we'll do 1. We'll do 2 more maybe. So this one's saying you have 8 cups of vinegar. We want to know how many pints does Lynn use. So I have 8 cups, which is C, and I want to transfer that into something pints. Okay, so I set up my unknown, then underneath it, I write what I know as a ratio. So cups stay with cups, pints stay with pints. Over here it says there's 2 cups and 1 pint. So for the cups I put 2, for the pints I put 1. So since this is high to low, it's a high number to a low number, you divide, oh no. So to get 1, you got to divide it by itself. So I divide by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 would be 4. So 8 cups is equal to 4 pints. Now the one I was talking about is fluid ounces, and this is my favorite to talk about. So I always say, like, I drink 24 fluid ounces of coffee a day. I want to know how many cups that is. Because even though it's in a cup, that is not 1 cup. So I need to do fluid ounces with fluid ounces, cups with cups. So I know that there's 8 fluid ounces and 1 cup. So since it's high to low, I divide, oh no. So to get 1, I divide it by itself. So I need to do 8 divided by 8 equals 1. What we do for the bottom, you do for the top. So 24 divided by 8 would be 3. So that means I drink 3 cups almost a day. So again, this is my favorite one because you're going to be using this a lot, especially for cooking. Thank you for checking out my video. Have an awesome day.